Gideon, the leader chosen by God. 1. Historical background and the state of Israel. After the death of Deborah the prophetess, Israel fell once again into a cycle of sin and judgment. The people forgot their covenant with the Lord, turning away from him to worship foreign gods, especially Baal and the goddess Asherah. As a result, God allowed the Midianites to oppress Israel for 7 years. The Midianites, along with the Amalekites and other eastern tribes, would regularly raid the land, stealing crops, livestock, and supplies. They swarmed the land like locusts, leaving Israel impoverished and broken. In desperation, the people cried out to God, and he listened to their cries. 2. God's call to Gideon. God sent an angel of the Lord to appear to Gideon, the son of Joash, from the tribe of Manasseh. Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to hide it from the Midianites. The angel greeted him, saying, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Surprised and doubtful, Gideon replied, "If the Lord is with us, why has all this happened? Where are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about?" The angel said, "Go in the strength you have. I am sending you to save Israel from Midian." Still hesitant, Gideon asked for a sign. He prepared a meal, meat, unleavened bread, and broth, and placed it on a rock. The angel touched it with the tip of his staff, and fire flared up from the rock, consuming the offering. Then the angel disappeared. Realizing he had seen the angel of the Lord, Gideon feared for his life. But God reassured him, "Peace. Do not be afraid. You will not die." 3. Destroying the altar of Baal. That same night, the Lord told Gideon to tear down his father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. In its place, he was to build a proper altar to the Lord and offer a burnt sacrifice using a bull. Fearing the townspeople, Gideon carried out the task at night with 10 of his servants. The next morning, when the townspeople discovered the destroyed altar, they demanded Gideon's death. But his father, Joash, defended him. "If Baal really is a god, let him defend himself." Because of this, Gideon was nicknamed Jerubbaal, meaning "let Baal contend with him." 4. Assembling the army. As the Midianites and their allies gathered in the Jezreel Valley, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon. He blew a trumpet, rallying warriors from the tribes of Manasseh, Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali. 32,000 men responded. Still uncertain, Gideon asked God for another sign. He placed a fleece of wool on the threshing floor and asked that dew fall only on the fleece, while the ground stayed dry. God did it. Gideon then reversed the request. This time the fleece stayed dry and the ground was wet. God granted both signs, strengthening Gideon's faith. 5. Reducing the army, a test of faith. Then the Lord told Gideon, "You have too many men. If I let you win with this many, Israel will boast it was by their own strength." So Gideon was instructed to tell the fearful to go home. 22,000 left, leaving 10,000. "Still too many," said the Lord. He told Gideon to bring them to a stream and observe how they drank water. Those who knelt and drank like animals were sent home. But those who cupped the water with their hands and brought it to their mouths were chosen. Only 300 men remained. God said, "With these 300 men I will save Israel and give Midian into your hands." 6. God strengthens Gideon before battle. That night, the Lord said to Gideon, "Go down against the camp, for I have given it into your hands. But if you are afraid, take your servant Purah and listen to what they say." Gideon and Purah sneaked down to the Midianite camp and overheard a man telling a dream. "I saw a loaf of barley bread roll into our camp. It struck a tent with such force that it collapsed." His comrade replied, "This must be the sword of Gideon. God has given the Midianites into his hands." Encouraged, Gideon worshipped God. He returned to camp and declared God's unusual battle strategy. Gideon had no large army, no advanced weapons, no tactical advantage, but he had God's promise. With only 300 men, he crafted a battle plan that was anything but conventional. Each soldier carried a trumpet, ram's horn, a clay jar, and a torch hidden inside the jar. He divided his 300 men into 3 companies of 100 and positioned them around the Midianite camp in the middle of the night. At the signal, they blew their trumpets, smashed the jars, revealing the torches, and shouted loudly, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The combination of sudden light, noise, and shouting through the Midianite army into total panic. In their confusion and fear, they began attacking each other, thinking the enemy had already infiltrated their ranks. The rest fled in chaos. 8. Pursuit and support from other tribes. Gideon quickly sent messengers to the nearby tribes, especially Ephraim, asking for help to cut off the Midianites' escape route. The men of Ephraim captured 2 Midianite commanders, Oreb and Zeb, and beheaded them. They brought their heads to Gideon. Though the Ephraimites were upset that they weren't called to join the battle earlier, Gideon humbly responded, "What have I done compared to you? You captured the princes. Your victory is greater." This soft answer prevented conflict among the tribes. 9. Pursuing the Midianite kings, Zebah and Zalmunna. Gideon and his 300 men continued chasing the 2 Midianite kings, Zebah and Zalmunna, across the Jordan River. Exhausted but determined, they pressed on. Along the way, they stopped at the towns of Sukkis and Peniel, requesting food for their weary men. But the townspeople refused, fearing retaliation from the Midianite kings if Gideon failed. Gideon warned both towns, "When the Lord gives me victory, I'll return and punish you." Eventually, Gideon captured both kings and returned to Sukkis and Peniel. As promised, he disciplined the leaders of both towns for their lack of faith and hospitality. He confronted the kings, confirmed that they had murdered his brothers, and then personally executed them for their crimes. 10. The people offer Gideon kingship. He refuses. After this stunning victory, the Israelites said to Gideon, "Rule over us, you, your son, and your grandson, for you saved us from Midian." But Gideon replied with a heart full of faith, "I will not rule over you, nor will my son. The Lord will rule over you." However, he made a small request that each man give him 1 gold earring from their share of the plunder. The people gladly did so, and from this gold, Gideon made an ephod, a priestly garment or image, which he placed in his hometown. Sadly, the ephod became a spiritual trap. The Israelites began to worship it, turning away from God. Even Gideon's household was ensnared by this idolatry. 11. Years of peace, then decline. During Gideon's lifetime, the land enjoyed 40 years of peace. He had many wives and fathered 70 sons. But after Gideon died, the people quickly forgot the Lord, broke the covenant, and returned to idol worship, especially to Baal. They failed to honor the family of Gideon, despite all he had done for them. Faith lessons from the story of Gideon. God doesn't need numbers to win. Only 300 faithful men were enough with God's presence. God uses the weak to accomplish great things. Gideon saw himself as insignificant, but God saw potential. Obedience over strategy. Victory came through listening to God, not through conventional warfare. Beware of turning blessings into idols. The ephod, though made with good intentions, became an object of false worship. True faith perseveres even after victory. Gideon was faithful in battle, but Israel faltered afterward. Faith must continue beyond one moment. Would you like me to help turn this into a 30-minute video script, a Christian comic for youth, or a Sunday school lesson plan? Just let me know how you'd like to use this story.